Hey, space explorers! Ever wondered what it's like to live in space for 9 whole months? That's longer than a school year, longer than most people's vacations, and definitely longer than any of us have spent floating around in zero gravity. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Sunita Williams, a NASA astronaut who did just that. From eating space pizza to running a marathon in orbit, Sunita's journey is packed with challenges, triumphs, and some seriously cool space facts. So buckle up, let's blast off into her amazing adventure. Before we get to the space stuff, let's talk about the woman behind the spacesuit. Sunita Williams is no ordinary astronaut. She's a record-breaking, trailblazing space veteran. Born in Ohio to an Indian-American dad and a Slovene-American mom, she grew up with a love for adventure. Fun fact, she was a competitive swimmer and even flew helicopters for the Navy before joining NASA. Talk about a resume. Sunita isn't new to space. She's been on 3 missions, but her longest was a whopping 9 months on the International Space Station, or ISS. That's like living in a high-tech floating lab 254 miles above Earth for almost a year. Her mission was part of Expeditions 14 and 15, where she served as a flight engineer. But why was she up there for so long? Well, space missions are carefully planned and sometimes schedules shift. In Sunita's case, she got to stay longer to help with important research and maintenance. Lucky for us, she's got some wild stories to share from her extended stay. So what's a typical day like on the ISS? Spoiler, it's nothing like life on Earth. For starters, there's no gravity, which means everything floats, including you. Sunita had to strap herself to a bed just to sleep. And don't even get me started on the bathroom situation. Let's just say space toilets are an experience. But let's talk about the fun stuff. Food. You might think astronauts survive on bland, freeze-dried meals, but Sunita and her crew had some surprisingly tasty options. They ate things like shrimp cocktails, roast chicken, and even pizza. Yep, space pizza is a thing. But fresh fruits and veggies? Not so much. Most of their food was pre-packaged, and they had to be careful with portions since resupply missions only happen every few months. Still, Sunita stayed healthy by sticking to a balanced diet, monitored by NASA's team of space nutritionists. Oh, and did I mention exercise? In space, your muscles and bones can weaken without gravity, so astronauts have to work out a lot. Sunita spent about 2.5 hours every day exercising. She ran on a treadmill, strapped down of course, lifted weights, and even did a triathlon from space using a stationary bike, treadmill, and a special machine to simulate swimming. Talk about dedication. Living in space isn't all pizza and triathlons. It comes with some serious challenges. For one, the lack of gravity messes with your body in weird ways. Your muscles shrink, your bones lose density, and even your eyesight can change. Sunita had to follow a strict exercise routine to fight these effects, but it wasn't easy. Then there's the food situation. While space food is pretty good, it's not like ordering takeout. Fresh produce is rare, and everything has to be carefully rationed. Sunita and her crewmate Butch Wilmore, who also stayed for 9 months, had to make do with what they had. But hey, they didn't starve. NASA made sure they had plenty of calories to keep them going. Another big challenge? Isolation. The ISS is a tiny space compared to Earth, and you're stuck with the same small group of people for months. Plus, you're really far from home. Sunita stayed connected with her family through video calls, but it's not the same as a hug, right? Still, she handled it like a pro thanks to her positive attitude and the support of her crewmates. And let's not forget the mental game. Being in space for 9 months means missing out on a lot back on Earth. Birthdays, holidays, even major world events. But Sunita kept her spirits high by focusing on her work, staying busy with experiments, and even celebrating small wins, like a successful spacewalk. Sunita is a legend in that department. During her mission, she completed 9 spacewalks, totaling over 62 hours outside the ISS. That's more than any other woman in history. She even surpassed her own records, and by the time she returned, she was 4th on NASA's all-time spacewalk list. Not too shabby, huh? But wait, there's more. Sunita also became the first person to run a marathon in space. Yep, while the rest of us were cheering from the ground, she was logging 26.2 miles on the ISS treadmill during the Boston Marathon. And if that's not impressive enough, she also completed a triathlon from orbit. Who needs a gym membership when you've got the whole universe as your playground? Oh, and here's a quirky one. Sunita brought a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, an ancient Indian text, to space with her. It's a small reminder of her heritage and a source of inspiration during her long mission. Astronaut survives 9 months in space alone. It takes a village, or in this case, a whole team of experts on Earth and in orbit. Sunita's crewmates were her space family, helping her stay motivated and focused. They worked together on experiments, maintenance, and even had some fun with zero-gravity games. Meanwhile, NASA's ground team was constantly monitoring their health, sending up supplies, and providing emotional support. Sunita also stayed connected with her husband Michael and her pet dog through video calls. Fun fact, her dog, Gorby, even made an appearance on the Dog Whisperer show while she was in space. Talk about a celebrity. How did Sunita Williams survive 9 months in space? It wasn't just about eating space pizza or running marathons. It was her resilience, her training, and her ability to adapt to the challenges of life in orbit. From record-breaking spacewalks to staying mentally strong, Sunita's journey is a testament to human endurance and the spirit of exploration. As she splashed down off the coast of Florida in March 2025, Sunita returned to Earth not just as an astronaut but as an inspiration. Her mission reminds us that with determination, teamwork, and a little bit of humor, we can overcome even the toughest challenges, whether on Earth or 254 miles above it. Thanks for joining me on this cosmic adventure. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more space stories. Until next time, keep looking up.